Good evening. Welcome to the Corporation Township Busselton, July 8th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting, virtual by electronic participation and in person at Municipal Office 7404, Wellington Road 34, Foothlinch. So we'll do start with roll call. Start with you, Amanda Knight.
Present.
So Chris Picard.
Present.
And Kim McCarthy. And I Council John Schools, I'm present as well. And let's do a moment of reflection. Thank you. So I'd like to also acknowledge we have our staff here, our Secretary Treasurer, Lynn Banks to my right, and to her right is our Township Junior Planner, Miguel Safewala. So Lynn, would you please read the resolution confirmation agenda?
That the committee approves the July 8th, 2025 agenda as circulated, and that the committee approves the addition to the agenda as follows. Consent item 6.2, questions received from committee members seeking additional information and the corresponding responses provided by staff regarding the July 8th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment agenda.
Madam Mover, and a second. Ken, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, do you have any disclosure of interest from anybody? No?
No.
Good, thank you. Then would you please read the resolution for the consent agenda?
That the committee approves the minutes from the meeting held on June 10th, 2025.
Okay, Mover, Kim, second. Chris, all in favor? Two. Okay, so we're going to move into the hearing part of the meeting right now, and the purpose of the hearing is to inform and provide the public the opportunity to ask questions or express their views with respect to a minor variance application before us today. The township requests you please notify the secretary of the committee by email at lbanks@busselton.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding a specific application. We also have sheets for you to sign if you aren't already being notified and would like to be notified. And the format of the hearing is as follows. I'll read each application and ask staff to display the relevant information. Staff will then present the information specifically outlining the purpose of this application, summarize the compliance with the township's notification and submission requirements, and outlining staff's comments. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to present the purpose and details of the application and any further information. I will be asking the applicant to come forward to the desk before us. Following this, the public can likewise obtain clarification, ask questions, or express their views on the proposal, and you'll have maximum 10 minutes to speak. Following this, the members of the committee will likewise have the opportunity to obtain clarification, ask questions. And if a member wishes to ask a condition to the hearing elements, I will ask for a vote on the condition. And the next step would be we would deliberate the application with any approved conditions and render a decision. And the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, so we'll start with the first application. D13 SAI Saimi Amit 4430 Wellington Road 35, requesting relief of a new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to allow maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures to be 347.55 square meters instead of 200 square meters as required. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to permit accessory building to have a height of 7.2 meters for the midpoint of the roof instead of 5 meters as required. So then would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, and outlining staff, agency, and public comments and recommendations.
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments were received. The GRCA had no comments. The Township's fire and bylaw departments had no comments. The township's building department said that they have no concerns from a building code perspective for the proposed increase in height and area. A building permit will be required for the new building, including any plumbing and septic upgrades. Please ensure spatial separation calculations are provided for the left elevation at the time of the building permit application, that all setbacks are documented on the site plan. A full technical review will be completed at the time of the building permit application. County of Wellington Roads had no comments. County Planning Department said the subject property is designated secondary agricultural and located within the Paris Gulf Moraine Policy Area in the County of Wellington. Overall, planning staff have no concerns with the proposed minor variance. And Source Water has advised that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out and does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. But they did note that they may provide complaints in any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas.
Okay, great, thank you. So would the applicant or the agent for applicant please come forward to make the presentation?
Do I sit down?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Amit Sani. My address is 4430 Wellington 35 Road, Coast Ontario.
Great, thank you. Go ahead, proceed.
Oh, yeah, so we can start with I just put together a quick presentation that
Oh, sure.
will summarize it all. So if you go to slide 2, so that's the current property, and as you can see, the pool is an outdoor pool, so I get enjoyment, or I'm able to enjoy it for about 5 to 6 months in the year. So we're just looking to enclose the pool. So if you go to the next slide, that's the proposed area, and it's essentially the existing footprint with a secondary structure being encasing the pool over top. Encasing the pool. That is the proposed initial drawings of the structure. So that's the first floor. The existing pool will remain. There was a permit that was issued and closed, I think in 2018, so we want to maintain the pool and not have to, invest any resources to create a new pool or anything like that. That's the second floor. There'd be a gym there with the stores, wrestling mat, and gym equipment for occasional use. And that is the request change for the coverage, lot coverage. And if you go to the next slide, this shows the current coverage that I'm allowed is, I think, in the blue. So it's just not sufficient to cover the entire pool area. So that's the request. That's why the request is made for the relief. And then the second request is for the height. So if you go to the next slide, so currently that's the front of the building. Sorry, the actual home on the property. The street view is on the right hand side here, and the structure is located at the back. There would be no one would be able to see it from the street, and current height is what's shown there in the blue approximately, and then we're just asking for that additional height there. The next one is, so the one in purple, that's a previous minor variance request that's been approved, and then that's the approximate location of where the new one will be in terms of height. So it's going to be lower than the previous variance that's already been approved.
Good, thank you. Hey, Lynn, are there any registrants required for us to speak on this?
No, Mr. Chair, there.
Okay, Michael, would you please canvass the audience to see if there's anybody there who would like to speak on this item?
We don't have any online attendees.
Okay, great, thank you. So we'll turn over to the members of the committee. Amanda.
A comprehensive presentation. I think I understand exactly what you're trying to achieve. Just for confirmation, the enclosure isn't going to be used for living space.
No.
Nobody is going to reside in the pool house.
No,
It's just for recreational use
that's correct.
for your family.
Yes.
No additional comments.
Okay, Chris.
Just to follow on Amanda's question, this is for personal use, you're not trying to run a gym business?
No.
Photography, okay.
No.
I noticed the drawings were by a US firm, I'm gonna leave that to the building department to solve those issues.
Okay.
But it made it I will say, it made it more difficult for me to review.
Oh, really? Okay,
Well, it's littered with American references that don't apply here,
okay.
so. Okay. Other than that, I have no comments. No.
Okay, great, thank you. I really don't have any comments, so, oh, Kim, I'm sorry.
No comment.
Okay, all right, so I don't have any comments. She's all by herself.
We're down here.
All right, so, we'll take a vote, so we either approve, opposed, or deferred. We'll start with you, Amanda, Chris,
Approved.
I approve as well, and it's subject to a 20-day appeal period. So, we'll go out of the, hearing for this item, and, Lynn, you have the resolution?
Certainly, that report D 13-2025-014 entitled minor variance application D 13 SAI be received. And whereas the variance requested were provided relief from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 of Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to allow a maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures of 347.55 square meters instead of 200 square meters as required. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 of the zoning bylaw, requesting permission to allow a maximum height for accessory buildings of 7.2 meters instead of 5 meters as required. And whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Therefore, that the committee approves the application with no conditions.
Okay, mover. Second, Chris, all in favor? Thank you. All right, you're done.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the next one, 7.2 D 13 SCH, Schram Nadine, 19 Water Road, PD. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 14, site specific number 86 to allow interior side yard for the proposed shed to be 0.09 meters instead of 0.6 meters as required in the zoning bylaw. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 14, site specific number 86 to allow maximum lot coverage of 37.26% instead of 35% as required by the zoning bylaw. And requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.c.3 to allow the proposed shed to be located 0.87 meters from the principal building instead of 1 meters as required in the zoning bylaw. Okay, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notifications, submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, and public comments and recommendations?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments were received. The GRCA has advised their previous comments dated February 5th, 2025 are still applicable. I can read those over, Mr. Chair, if you'd like.
Sure.
Information currently available at their office indicates that the subject property is adjacent to a water course and contains the regulated allowance adjacent to the water course. Due to the presence of the features noted above, a portion of the property is regulated by the GRCA, and any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit. It is our understanding that the minor variance application requests reduced setbacks from the interior side yard and the principal dwelling. The GRCA has issued a permit for the proposed shed, and the plans circulated with the application are consistent with the plans approved under the GRCA permit noted above. As such, the GRCA has no objection to the approval of this minor variance. Township's fire department had no comments. Source Water has advised that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated will not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out and does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. They further noted that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas. The Township's building department has advised that overall the building department does not support the minor variances proposed. But should the committee consider approving this application, the following items should be addressed to the satisfaction of the building department. Number one, the wall on the property line will need to be fire rated to 45 minutes and no openings are permitted, as well as the cladding will need to be non-combustible. Number two, the soffit fascia is projecting onto the neighboring property and should be addressed or removed. Number three, if the shed is to remain on the property line, survey confirming final location of the shed is to be provided. And number four, building department advised that notes 1, 2, and 3 can be waived. The shed is moved 600 meters from the property line. They also noted a building permit application has been received and is currently under review. And the county planning department has advised that they note that the proposed variances to facilitate the construction of a shed. It is understood this application was deferred. So the survey prepared by an OLS confirming the final location of the shed could be provided. Section 5.5.5 of the official plan directs that ESAs will be protected from development or site alterations that would negatively impact them or the ecological functions. They further noted the comments of the Grand River Conservation Authority should be given, should it be considered, and provided township staff are satisfied that the requirements of section 5.5.5 are met and any concerns of the GRCA are addressed. Planning staff have no objection to the proposal.
You done?
That's it.
Good, thank you. All right, so let's have the applicant or agent come forward, please. State your name and address for the record.
Nadine Schramm, 19 Water Street.
Okay, please go ahead. Make your present.
Okay, so, I moved to this community 2 years ago and, the sheds that were on the property were just not usable for what I needed to store lawnmowers and golf carts and so forth. I came down to this office August of 24 and talked to, Tamara about putting in a large shed to cover the footprint that was existing. She pulled out a book and said, this is Mini Lakes guidelines. You'll be grandfathered in because the way the community is put together, it shouldn't be a problem. So I went back home. I spoke to a few people and they said, you should probably go back and talk to them again because it doesn't sound right. I came back to this office on 4 occasions and I was told that it would be fine. I would be grandfathered in. There would be no problem. So I ordered the shed to be built to match the colors of my dwelling. And after the shed was put in, there was a complaint filed. And I came down and I spoke to Olive. And she said, it's not gonna be a problem if you pay for the building permit today. That was on a Monday. She said, you'll have the permit by Wednesday. It's not an issue because of the way Mini Lakes is put together. And here I am today.
Okay, so we just wanted to briefly discuss what we're talking about here.
Mhm.
Sure.
So the item on the side, they're calling it a garage. It's actually a shed.
Oh,
Okay, does have a garage door on it to get the golf cart in and out. It's 10 by 24. The sheds that were covering that area before were just removed. One was located to the right side of the property. One was thrown away. It's basically a garage shed to store tools, golf cart, lawnmower, snowblower.
right,
And had, on the 4 occasions that I came, had I been told at any of those times that this was not a likely scenario to happen, I wouldn't have ordered a $10,000 shed. I had spoke to a few people, Monica, one of them, Olive, and Mahul himself, and the information apparently I was given was incorrect. But everything was already in play. And I have complied with everything that's been asked of me. And we have agreed that should it be allowed to stay, we're more than happy to put a firewall. We were planning on putting eaves troughs to drain off any water so it didn't drip onto the neighboring property. We didn't do any of this to this point because if it can't stay, there was no point to doing it. So we are agreeable to make it a safe community. We don't want anything to happen to our home either. But there was some things said to neighbors surrounding that led me to believe that this was a vindictive filing, not a personal, it was a personal.
well, let's not get into that. We're
Yeah.
only dealing with the technical part of it here. Okay. Lynn, you have some public comments as well.
Yes, Mr. Chair, did receive you. So this is from the Board of Directors for WCECC number 214, stating they do not support any minor variance to the current setback requirements in the community. Furthermore, they're opposed to any increase in lot coverage beyond the established 35% maximum. Mini Lakes has experienced significant construction activity in recent years, much of which has negatively impacted stormwater management. Many properties have exceeded the 35% lot coverage threshold by adding structures, concrete and asphalt. This has greatly reduced permeable surfaces, leaving stormwater with nowhere to drain, and as a result, several areas within the community are experiencing flooding, leading to costly infrastructure upgrades amounting to millions of dollars. The board is committed to preserving the aesthetic integrity and functionality of the community for all residents, and for these reasons, we strongly object to the requested minor variance. I received another comment from Stuart and Catherine Fancy. Within the matter of minor variance D13 SCH, we do not have an issue with the new shed. It was put in the same location as the two older sheds and has the same footprint. New one looks much better and gives the property a much better street appeal. We feel that it increases the property value and value of properties around it. The next comment is from Amber Smith. And they write, I strongly feel like proposed request should be allowed. The shed is not impeding on the neighbor's yard line. Therefore, is not affecting anyone else by being there. The shed began as a feud between neighbors about things that happened in the past. Honestly, I feel like enough is enough. This one is from Nadia Keating, said, hello, I'm objecting to the minor variance request. If allowed, I think this will set a precedent and it will encourage people not to request permission. Further comment is from Judy Dawson Keys and Larry Keys. They are the owners of the property at 15 Water Street, Postland, and adjacent to the property at 19 Water Street. We object to the requested minor variance for the setback from our property line adjacent to 19 Water Street. Following are the reasons for objecting. The application states that there were two 10 by 12 foot sheds on the existing concrete pad, and the request is to replace with one 10 by 24 foot structure. We respectfully submit that this information is incorrect. The existing concrete pad housed a 9 by 10 foot permanent shed only, and there was a portable shelter logic storage cover on a wooden deck beside the permanent shed. Having said that, our issue is not with the size of the structure, but rather the location. The new structure sits 3 inches from the property line and only 8 feet from the side of our house. There is concern for the risk of fire with this structure being so close to our house. If fire occurs within the structure, there is little hope our house would not be compromised. Also, hydro has been added to the structure, which increases our concern for fire. As this structure is currently not compliant, we question if the hydro installation has been inspected. The addition of a 45-minute burn wall would do little to preserve the integrity of our home in the event of a fire. The intent of the burn wall is not to contain fire, but rather to allow time for evacuation. In our community, there was a fire originating in a shed a few years ago that resulted in the total loss of one home and significant damage to the neighboring home. Thank you for your consideration of our concerns. We will be attending the meeting on July 8th in person to address our concerns. Another comment from Sharon Parmentier. Regarding the above application, as a Mini Lake resident, I most definitely do not want this approved. First of all, there was no permit to put the garage on the property, and it's not within the property line restrictions. And then in parentheses, fire hazard, allowing this garage to remain opens up a whole new set of problems. Other residents could be building garages, decks, fences, etc., with no permits on property lines, creating fire hazards, and there will be nothing that can be done about it. If you allow one resident, then you have to allow others. Therefore, I totally oppose this and ask that it not be approved. And then one final comment from Sharon Fogale or Fogale, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name. Said, I'm opposing the minor variance because we're in a modular park home. Fire is the main concern with them having the garage that close to their neighbor. We are already close to one and another, and a fire would spread like wildfire to the rest of the neighborhood. Also, being that close gives no privacy between the homes. That's it. Great.
So can I make a comment?
Sure.
There was already hydro to the existing sheds. There was no new hydro put in. It was already existing, as the person that made the complaint also has hydro to their shed.
I don't want to speak what I'm also.
Most of the sheds on the property have, in the community have power to them. It was already an existing power source.
Thank you. Okay, so Lynn, are there any registrants who asked to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, not.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience who has anything to say, would like to come forward and speak? You do?
Yes,
Okay, so please state your name and address.
I'm Judy Dawson Keys, I live at 15 Water Street. And my husband and I are here. We don't have an issue with the shed being on the property. We don't have an issue with the size of the shed, as stated in our concerns. We have an issue with the location of the shed. If the shed is relocated further from our property line rather than 3 inches off our property line, we have no problem with it whatsoever. We just wanted to make that clear, that it's just the location of the shed is, and our concern for fire. And as I stated, a firewall, you know, I Googled firewalls and they give time for evacuation. It is not a fire containment system. And with that shed being 8 feet from the side of our home and we're vinyl siding, there's a fire in the middle of the night. There's no hope that our homes won't be severely compromised.
Anybody have questions of this?
Can I make a comment to that?
We're running. Anybody have questions of this? No? Okay, anybody else in the audience would like to speak? Yes.
Yes, my name is Elias Andre. I'm a director on the Mini Lakes Board. I just wanted to confirm for the purpose of this meeting that Judy is also on the board. She's the president of the board. And she has recused herself to deal with this matter within the board meetings. So she has had no influence in the meeting about any reactions that we have had as a board. Just wanted to make that point.
Anybody else? Yes.
My name is Brian Fancy. I already read a statement from me,
Yes.
but, I do have a concern. Just moved into Mini Lakes a year ago. I like most of the people there. I am enjoying life there. One of the things I noticed when I moved in there is we're taking a stance right now on this shed. But I can go around to that, around the whole community and find sheds this far apart.
Like 3 inches.
And some, like, and there's a new one that's just been built. And again, it's, and I just have I'm just trying to get my head around how it is. Yes, this one's only 8 feet or whatever it is. And the people are willing to do whatever it takes to make it as whatever requirements you guys ask for. But yet, it just, you know what I mean? It baffles me that we allow this, but then other people don't, are.
Yeah, can we just quickly speak to this particular
Okay.
request?
But, well, you know, my feeling there, I think it's a much better shed, much better built. It's the one that they had there, and it's on the same site as the other one. I mean, it's brought in, dropped right where the other one was. I mean.
I just want to address strictly the variance. If you have a comment, with the gentleman's comments, will not accept that. Okay, anyone else in the audience? No? Okay, so let's go around the table
Can I
and,
make one comment?
no, we're taking over the committee. Amanda.
Okay, there's lots of information that's been thrown out tonight. I wanna make sure that I understand, so. The footprint that was there hasn't been changed. So it's the exact same footprint that existed.
It's actually 3 inches closer to my house than the old shed that was facing their house is.
So what you replaced is essentially the same size and location to what was previously existing.
No, there was 2 different units. and-
But
yeah,
combined
yeah,
with essentially the same
yeah.
size. And so did you apply for a permit for the shed and that's what triggered the need for the?
Yeah, I'd come down and talk to Tamara, like, as I stated 4 times before I ordered the shed. And then, once I ordered it, I came back and I said, okay, I ordered it, and it was actually Olive that said, well, just get the permit, because if you ever decide to sell the property, it's done. And she said, I came on a Monday, I paid the $81, and she told me to come back Wednesday, I'd have the permit. And then,
Okay.
yeah, had I known that this was all an issue, I would not have purchased the shed. We are $26,000 into the shed at this time, between surveys, Grand River fees, variance fees, everything else. It's become a very expensive project.
And so, sorry, just going back to when you purchased the property, it was existing. You didn't put anything there apart from this new structure. What, like, when you purchased it, it was existing. Did you know how long it was existing before you purchased?
No,
But it was there.
yeah, and you can look at House Sigma, and you can see the old one, but I bought the house private, so it would not appear on House Sigma as I purchased it.
Those are the clarification questions I needed.
There was a comment that it wasn't a full concrete pad previously, was it? Did you
It's
add
not a
the
full concrete pad under it.
Okay, so you didn't add the concrete.
No,
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Kim? Okay, and you had some comments you wanted to make specifically with regard to this variance?
my statement is that the old shed, the new shed is put 3 inches farther away from the property line than the previous shed was. So if there was ever concern for fire, it should have been in any shed that was in that place. Because it's the same distance, like I'm 3 inches closer to my own property than I was the previous property. And as I stated, we're more than happy to put a firewall. Because we don't want any damage to anybody's properties.
Okay, so, we're gonna take it into the committee now to, discuss and vote on. So there's 2 conditions here. One is the wall of the property be fire rated to 45 minutes still with no openings. Second is that the soffit/fascia that is projecting out to neighboring property should be addressed, removed to the satisfaction of the township chief building official. Do you have any other comments or amendments you wish to make, conditions, I should say?
Can I make a comment on the roof?
No.
I just have a question, not a comment.
No, we're
Okay.
done. It's within the committee, that's it.
Okay,
Kim? Kim? Any questions? Good. All right, so, we'll take it into, vote. So, again, it's, either approved, proposed, or deferred. And, we have to be satisfied ourselves that it meets the, 4 conditions, that are, necessary for us to accept that it's a minor variance. So we'll start with you, Kim. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm bad today.
I am going to approve with the conditions indicated by the building department.
Chris,
The same, I would approve with those conditions, yes.
Kim. Okay, I approve the same with those conditions. It'll be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, so let's go out of the hearing, and Lynn, would you please, read the resolution?
That report D 13-2025-015 entitled minor variance application D 13/SCH be received. And whereas the variance requested to provide relief from section 14, site specific number 86, and the township comprehensive zoning bylaw 2018-023 as amended. To allow an interior side yard setback for an accessory building and structure to be 0.09 meters instead of 0.6 meters as required. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 14, site specific number 86 of the zoning bylaw to allow a maximum lot coverage of 37.26% instead of 35% as required. And whereas the variance request would provide relief from section 4.4.2 C3 of the zoning bylaw to allow the proposed shed to be located 0.87 meters from the principal building instead of 1 meter as required. And whereas the minor variance application is minor, but it maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Therefore, the committee approves the application with the following conditions. Number 1, that the wall on the property line be fire rated to 45 minutes with no openings. And number two, that soffit fascia that is projecting onto the neighboring property should be addressed, removed to the satisfaction of the township's chief building official.
Okay, mover. And second, Kim, all in favor? Thank you, so we're done.
Thank you. So do I get, like, how does it work now? I get a notification? Okay,
So through the chair, I will be mailing the decision out to you and all interested parties.
okay,
There's a 20-day appeal period from today's date.
Yep.
You have to wait for the 20-day appeal period to end before you can approach the building department about getting your building
Okay.
permits. But you can let them know that it was approved by the committee, so if they want to start just doing a preliminary review of the permits, they can. But you won't be able to get permits for 20 days.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
well, let's move on to this one. I'll let the audience leave if you want to leave now. You don't have to stay for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to 7.3, D13 CIM, Semino Massimo 6547, concession 1, request for relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to prevent accessory building to have a height of 6.15 meters to the midpoint of the roof instead of 5 meters as required. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to allow a maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures of 300 meters squared instead of 200 meters squared as required. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to allow a minimum interior side yard of 1.88 meters for a pool cabana /shed instead of 2 meters as required. So Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, and public comments and recommendations?
Notice that the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments were received. Townships, Public Works, Fire Departments, Bylaw Departments, and the Building Department had no comments or concerns. As well, the GRCA did not have any comments. Source Water noted that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out and does not require a section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. Please note that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas. The Township's Building Department said they do not have any concerns with the proposed minor variance. And County Planning Department said the subject property is designated secondary agriculture and located within the Periscott Lane policy area in the County of Wellington official plan, and overall planning staff have no concerns with the proposed minor variance.
Any public comments?
I did not receive any public comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do you have any registrants request to speak? Well then,
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
and Nicole, anybody need?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so let's have the applicant please come forward.
Hello.
Morning, or afternoon. All right, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Massimo Cimino and my address is 6547 Concession 1 in Kuslunch.
Okay, so please, present your,
So, I would like to put in like it's basically a garage, utility building, just for my RV. I'm a car collector. I want to put some cars in there. I've kind of run out of room in my garage now. When my guests come over, they can't park in the garage because I've got too many toys. So, that's why I'm looking to, build this building as well.
can you comment on the other minor variance that we're asking for?
Yeah. Like I said.
Yeah,
Please do.
this is,
On the 18th room.
Okay, so just let you know. Put your name and address for the record.
My name is Dino. My address is 328 Piper Street there,
And what's your last name?
Angelino. So basically, they're building a shed here, just asking for an additional meter and a half in height for the structure. And it was the 1.8 meters from the property line to the side of the cabana.
The lot is kind of like on an angle, the lot line, and the cabana is already there, but apparently it's a little bit too close to the fence. I didn't even realize that until we applied for this building.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no registrants to speak, and so we'll take it to the committee and start asking questions on that.
I think I know the answer to this, but just to confirm, the new proposed garage is just for personal use, it's just for all your personal toys.
Yeah, there's no water in there, right?
Okay, no,
Yeah,
not
no.
gonna be using it for business, like a
No, no.
rental or, well, looks like a good time.
Good, Chris?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Yeah. No, I don't have any questions either. So, guess we don't have any conditions on this.
Mr. Chair, we could.
All right, so go around the table. We're gonna either approve, oppose, or defer, and to be satisfied that it meets the four conditions for a minor variance. So start with you, Amanda. Chris?
I approve.
Tim? And I approve as well. Okay, we'll go out of the hearing, and then would you read the resolution, please?
That report D13-2025-016 entitled minor variance application D13-CIM be received. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 of the Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw number 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to allow a maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures of 300 square meters instead of 200 square meters as required. And whereas the variance request would provide relief from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 of the zoning bylaw, requesting permission to permit an accessory building to have a height of 6.15 meters to the midpoint of the roof instead of 5 meters as required. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 of the zoning bylaw, requesting permission to allow a minimum interior side yard of 1.88 meters for a pool, cabana / shed instead of 2 meters as required. And whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Therefore, that the committee approves the application with no conditions.
Okay, a mover. Kim, second, Amanda. All in favor? Good, thank you. And it's subject to 20-day appeal period. Okay, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll start with, finish off, I guess, the 7.4 D13 SEY, brackets Campbell, Seymour, Kaylee, 4424 Victoria Road South, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 4.4.2, table 4.1 to allow maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures to permit a proposed detached garage of 827 square meters instead of 684 square meters as required, requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 414, site specific special provision 19 to allow minimum front yard of 71 meters for kennel use, limited to one existing accessory building and structure instead of 75 meters as required. Okay, Lynn, so would you please summarize the application, notification, and submission requirements outlining staff, agency, public comments, and recommendations?
Notice of the application is given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met, and the following comments were received. Township's Public Works Department had no comments. Source Water has noted that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out and does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. And further noted that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas. The building department has no concerns from a building code perspective. Our bylaw department said there's no record of building permit for the pool enclosure on site, and a permit will be required for the pool enclosure. And county planning has advised that the subject lands are designated secondary agricultural. Lands are also located in the Ferris Gulf Marine Policy Area, but overall staff do not have any concerns with the proposed minor variance application.
Okay, so would your agent or applicant please come forward? Okay. Name and I'm still.
My name is Kaylee Seymour. I'm the owner of 4424 Victoria Road.
And my name is Kevin Wall. I actually reside at 42 Lake Road, Cambridge, Ontario, and I'm the contractor.
Okay, great, thank you. So, please, present.
Yeah, so we applied on May 13th for an increase of variance. In doing so, we didn't realize that on the site plan that we had to initial multiple small buildings under 100 square feet, as you can indicate on the drawing here. So most of those are indicated as all of them are pretty much storage for animals, chickens, pigs, kind of like everything. In doing so, we didn't meet the standards of the bylaw, so we're applying for a new variant so we can build her garage, essentially.
Okay. All right, Lynn, are there any registrants for us to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, they're not.
Okay, and anybody in the audience?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's go around the table. So Amanda.
I remember this one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, we made a mistake. We should have put all these buildings off the site plan. I assumed, basically, I took responsibility of the fact that I assumed that anything under 100 square feet was not structured and didn't classify as the equation for the roof structure. In doing so, I was wrong, and that's what we're applying for today.
So I appreciate you going back and revising your site plan. So I guess essentially you were just asking for an increase in the minor variance just based on.
Yep.
Yeah. No additional questions.
And Chris.
Are there any plans to remove the multiple little sheds eventually?
So in the meeting that I was here last time, it was agreed upon that the CCAN would be removed. I have paid a $5,000 deposit. We do have plans to remove that once the new garage is up. The remainder of the structures are non-permanent and my rescued animals reside in them. I cannot move them.
Okay.
Or else my animals will be. Homeless.
And that's why we-
not the business
yeah.
plan.
And that's why we decided to do what we did. Instead of moving them and doing instead, we applied for the new permit. Just said that, look, we want the buildings, we want them all to stay at the end of the day, even though they're movable. At the end of the day, she wants them to stay.
Really where I was going with that
Yeah.
question, you're right, I should have prefaced it, I'm sorry. Are there plans to build a more permanent, larger enclosure for the rescued animals?
Correct. Yes, there is.
That would see you coming back in a couple of years, for example, maybe updates here, for yet another variance.
Correct.
Just trying to find out what your
Yes.
future plans are.
So we have a future plan. We actually have a plan, company that's looking actually to finish off the first proposal that we had. So yes, we're in the near future looking to take all those animals and store them into the new building for her, down in the future to rescue as many animals as she possibly can.
So I recall the answer when I asked it back in May, was that the building was gonna be for storage, not for animals.
Correct.
Yeah, so those little coops will remain where they
Okay.
are.
Because I think that you're moving animals to the new garage.
No, we're not. It's all just garage related. So it's all the
Okay.
storage stuff for the food and like it's for all the storage stuff.
Okay.
So
essentially.
that we no longer have to have the CCAN and
Yep.
an
And all the
absurd
tents,
amount of
tents and.
storage
That
in my
helps.
home.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's it.
Tim.
No problem.
Okay, and I don't have any questions. I'm glad we got through the process and everything seems to be working.
Yep.
Your way. All right, so, let's, vote on, also I should read the two, conditions that the existing accessory kennel structure located 71 meters from the front property line prohibit the housing of boarding, breeding, training, selling, or keeping of dogs. And the second condition is that the owner applies for and receives an approval for the outdoor swimming pool enclosure according to permit requirements outlined in Township Swimming Pool Closure Bylaw 2018-18 as amended. Anybody have any other conditions that you can?
I have a comment on that bylaw. I'm just trying to understand the bylaw itself. It's designed for use for resources for the dogs, because it's for,
It's not my business.
it's not a bit, it's for business use and it's for essentially for dog training purposes only.
It's actually a rehab. It's a
Rehab, sorry.
veterinary rehab, and the pool was there when I purchased the property.
So, okay, all we're doing is, asking
Okay.
for a fence.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Okay.
It's a fence.
Yeah.
Okay, no other conditions from anybody? Okay, so, let's, vote on it, taking into account, the four, tests that we have to apply when we, consider whether or not it's a minor variance. So we'll start with you, Amanda.
Approved.
Okay, Chris. Approve. Tim. And I approve as well, and let's go out of the hearing and, then would you please read the, recommendation?
That report D 13-2025-017 entitled minor variance application D 13/CAM be received. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 4.4.2 table 4.1 of Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2018-023 as amended, requesting permission to allow a maximum lot coverage for accessory buildings and structures of 827 square meters instead of 684 square meters as required by minor variance D 13-CAM approved on May 13, 2025. And whereas the variance requested would provide relief from section 14 site-specific special provision number 19 of the zoning bylaw to allow a maximum front yard of 71 meters for accessory kennel use, limited to one existing accessory building and structure instead of 75 meters as required. And whereas the minor variance application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and is desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property, and planning staff consider the request to be minor and have no concerns with the application. Therefore, that the committee approves the application with the following conditions: that the existing accessory kennel structure located 71 meters from the front property line prohibit the housing, boarding, breeding, training, selling, or keeping of dogs. And number two, that the owner applies for and receives an approval for the outdoor swimming pool enclosure according to permit requirements outlined in the Township Swimming Pool Enclosures Bylaw 2018-018 as amended.
Of course.
Thank you. Yes.
I will move it. Yes.
Okay, second, Jim, all in favor? Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so, no new business, the staff report, Lynn, you want to walk through the staff report, 9.1.
Certainly. So, already looking at 2026 for the Committee of Adjustment meeting dates. Surprise. And these are just for the committee to approve the meeting dates as shown in the attached report.
Okay, any comments on proposed dates? So, Lynn, we checked it with the county and everything works out well.
Yes.
There's no, religious, holidays that we have to.
No,
consider about.
and we'll be ahead of the Christmas break too, so.
Okay, great. All right, Hoover, Amanda, second, Kim, all in favor? Thank you. And adjournment, Lynn, you have a resolution to
That
it.
the Committee of Adjustment hereby adjourns at 7:52 PM.
Okay, Mover. First, second, Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. Meeting for July 8th, 2025, to order. We'll start with, roll call, Amanda Knight,
Present.
Chris Picard,
Present.
Jim McCarthy, my council John Spruce, present as well. And, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of, our secretary, Lynn Banks to my right, and to her right is our, township junior planner, Nicole Sopawala. And let's go into a moment of reflection. Thank you. All right, so confirmation agenda.
That the committee approves the July 8th, 2025 Big PDAC agenda as circulated.
Okay, mover. Tim, second, Amanda, all in favor? All right. Any disclosure of interest? Next one. Okay, consent agenda, Lynn.
That the Planning and Development Advisory Committee approves the minutes from the meeting held on June 10th, 2025.
Okay, mover. Chris, second, Kim, all in favor? Okay. Delegations, we have none. General interest items, we have none. No notice of public meetings, no reports. Those only bylaw amendments, staff reports, Lynn.
So this report is just for the 2026 Planning and Development Advisory Committee meeting schedule, which is the same as the Committee of Adjustment schedule dates.
Okay, any questions or comments? No, okay, mover, Tim, second, Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. And, Lynn, report 9.3.2. Unfortunately, Paul's not here, but I think we can handle it without him here.
So Paul provided us with a committee memo on his visit to the Ontario Association of Committee of Adjustment Consent Authorities 2025 conference, as well as presentations that were attached to the report. So the recommendations that committee memo PDAC 2025-003 entitled Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment Consent Authorities 2025 conference in Collingwood, Ontario, be received for information.
Okay, any discussion?
None for me, that's good information.
Like the sessions I went to, I went to presentations, I thought they were really good use of Paul's time.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been there too, but, we can't go to everything. Good stuff.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, Lynn, what's the process from here? I know the, Chris's report is going to council. Is this going to council?
This will go at the same time. They'll go together.
Oh, they'll go together.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so let's, move and second the recommendation. So Chris,
Yes.
okay, second, Amanda, all in favor?
Yep.
Thank you. There's no new correspondence. Anybody have any new business? No, okay, adjournment.
The Planning and Development Advisory Committee hereby adjourns at 7:56 PM.
Okay, mover. Amanda, second, Kim, all in favor?